We're in some strange times in our life in America, and I just want to yak at you a few minutes about that. I've talked to 3 or 4 close friends this weekend who are a little bit panicked over the scenario that's going on with our federal government, and mainly Donald Trump and Elon Musk. And ladies and gentlemen, here's what you got to understand. We are in a mess. It is hard to fathom $35 trillion in debt. It's just unimaginable. And when you back off and be where Elon Musk is trying to be right now, how in the world are we going to solve that? And if you had a pencil and a piece of paper, we can do this mathematically, and I believe you'll understand it. Because in business, I don't care whatever you are. It's something called the 80-20 rule, and I've talked about it. We've done podcasts or videos about it before, but it's always in effect. And here's the deal we got right now going on. And if I was in Elon Musk's situation or in Donald Trump's, either one, they're going to do no different than I would as far as analyzing that. The 20%ers do 80% of the work. They make 80% of the money and are responsible for a business to either grow or not. Now think about that. Here we are, we just walked into a new business, and I don't care if it's a local restaurant that needs help, don't understand where to go. Well, obviously, our legislatures are dumb as a box of rocks when it comes to business. For years, they've had no clue. And I'm old enough to remember back when it was a major deal if the budget was not balanced to a T. Now, and that's exactly what this needs to be, period. Don't care what. Because when you borrow money to pay salaries, you are in trouble. In trouble. Now, we've got plenty of money to get done what we need to do in this country if we wouldn't giving it all away, and 1,000 different things, and he's proven that. But how do we, sitting there, and I'm trying my best to sit in your chair wherever you are working for the government, wherever you are, wherever part of that you are. Well, there's way too many of you, and you're on a gravy train, meaning that in the past, no matter what you did or said, your job is going to be there. Well, that's why we're in the mess we're in now. People have got to work and produce and pay their own way, or they can't do anywhere. I don't care what. I don't care what businessman's out there, and he says, I got to hire an employee to do that. Well, how does that make money for the company? Now, wherever you are, how are you making money for the government, for us? And you see, all of us need to look at you and ask a question. See, I am the government. All of us are. That's us. And when we ask the question, is this guy worth what we're paying him? What's he doing? And if I was Elon Musk, the first thing I would do is ask every one of them employees to look in the mirror. You tell me what you're doing to aid the United States of America. Whatever your job description is. What is it? Write it down. Send it to me. That's the first thing I'd do. Now, I want to know what you think about it, because all of your coworkers, every one of them, whether you like it or not, and you included, whoever you are, you already know in your little part of this equation who the 20%ers are in your office or your response. You know who they are. They're like a red flag. They are people that stand out and get the job done. And you also know who the 80%ers are. They're looking for a way not to work. And I laughed yesterday. I was in our local Ingles. I go there about every day because we like fresh vegetables and that kind of stuff. So I try to go there and get that done. But so about every time I go in there, I need to go to the restroom. And every time I go in there, there is an Ingles employee sitting on a toilet. And then now it's become funny to me because I don't have to wonder if they're going to be in there. Now, where you work, I promise you, those 80%ers are somewhere trying to hide in what we used to call gold brick. And we've just got to the point that it's got to get fixed. And it's not a simple fix. And if you would try to take Donald Trump's place, because it's not just the United States economy that's on his plate. It's the armed forces, it's the world, it's all the stuff. And securing the border and finding energy. And my Lord, it's got to be fun. He's enjoying it. He really is. Because I would be if I was standing there. But at the same time, what do we do to fix it? And you can't pansy around. And in my life, I've owned almost 40 businesses. And I didn't joke with it. It was just a Ben Franklin. Here's the good, here's the bad. And you never lie to yourself. When you got somebody that you're questioning whether they need to be in your employer or not, what are they doing right? What are you doing to make the company money? What are you not doing to cost it? And if it's bad, you got to go. Just that simple. And if it's good, attaboy. And that's what keeps them going. And so as you do that, and as you're thinking about it, wherever you are, because it's coming your way. I don't care what. I don't care what business you're in, especially if you're working for the United States government in any capacity. They're going to hit every department with that 2080 rule. They're not calling it that, but that's what it is. They're going to eliminate as many 80%ers as they can. And that's really about the number of problems that the government's got. 80% need to go. Yeah, because them 20%ers, when you turn them loose, they're already doing the work for them. But I mean, physically and literally taking up that much work, they'll do it. And then, in the process, the 80-20 rule is always in effect. Now, let's for a minute, let's take the 20%, and if I had numbers, and I probably need to get them and do this again, real numbers. How many people work for the United States government? Well, let's do, what's the 80-20 of that? Well, inside that, let's go over here and segregate these 20%ers. And inside this 20% is the 80-20 rule inside this. So we go inside that percentage and we say, now, 80-20 rule in there, how many is that? Now those 20%ers are now called 5%ers because that's what happened in that equation. Now, they are, and you know who they are. You know who they are in your organization. Pastors, you know who they are in your church. You don't have to ask. I could walk up to any pastor and say, who's your 20%ers? Now, he may not know that thought, but when he understands what it is, he can tell you quick. And then I could say, now, out of your 20%ers, who's your 5%ers? Bam. You're going to know. Because people who do things, you can't hide it. They're doing it. So them 5%ers, my Lord. So all of you people out there that are panicked about your job from the government, look in the mirror and be honest. Am I a 20%er? Or am I a 5%er? No, am I an 80 percenter, a 20, or a 5? And don't lie. You know. And if you're an 80 percenter, be prepared to go find another job. Because if you are an 80 percenter, you don't really like your job. Because if you liked it, you wouldn't stay an 80 percenter. You're going to find ways to step up to the plate. And that's what separates those people. And it separates it fairly. You don't have to worry about it. And the beauty of this, if you'll look, it's true. 80-20. And your 20 percenters, and now we separate that, and here's your 20 percenters of that. And now here's your 5 percenters. But guess what? As you do the 80-20 rule with the 5 percenters, out of the 5 percenters, there's only going to be 1 or 2 people. That's the 5 percenters. But hear me, those 5 percenters are what creates 95% of effort and money for the entire organization, wherever you're working. They are so valuable, it's unreal. So if you're a 20 percenter, if you're a 5 percenter, and if you're a 1 percenter, well, I've only had 4 1 percenters and 7,000 employees in my life. But 1 percenters are they're unbelievable. If you're a 20 percenter or a 5 percenter or a 1 percenter, stop every ounce of worry about your job. You're not going anywhere. And if anybody's got any thought of it, it's not you that needs fired. It's your manager. Because he didn't recognize where you are. But don't kid yourself. It's got to be accurate. So, and understand, the 80 percenters have got to do 1 or 2 things. Get productive or get gone. It's just that simple. We American people can't afford you if you're doing nothing, if you're not making progress or profit on what's going on in your department. And that's right down in county, good grief, county government. I swear, you look and think, oh, how in the world, who hired that? And then they've got that attitude, well, you can't fire me. Well, tell me a job that you can't fire somebody from for not working. And something's wrong, because that's not how it's set up. It's set up for us to work. But do it with a smile. Do it because you want to. Do it because you're getting paid to do it. And not just do it, but do it. And then the people around you, their attitudes, how do you affect that? It's all important, ladies and gentlemen. And I got up this morning, and we're going to do videos about a lot of things today, but this was on my mind. I watched it, and I listened to some people that I love dearly and were worried about their job in the government. And this is exactly how I recommended to them. And I asked point blank, and it's as simple as this. You know what you do. You know if you're doing your job or not. And you know if Johnny Lunchbucket's doing his or not. And don't feel bad when Johnny Lunchbucket gets a pink slip and says bye. Just do what you can to pull that weight, because that's what it's going to take. Because every one of us is going to have weight to pull before this is over. Because it is serious. They've let it go absolutely. And the last 4 years, it went unbelievably crazy. But hear me, pray and support our president. There ain't nobody else in the world could have done what he's doing. And you guys can laugh about that, but it's the truth. And the same thing, he is so brilliant. He was able to look out there and say, this business is in a mess. Now, in the world, where could I go get somebody to help me straighten this out? Oh, how about we go get the richest man in the world? He's a pretty good businessman. Let's bring him in. see what he can do. Now, don't laugh about that. That's business. And Elon Musk wouldn't be, I don't even know if they're paying him. I'm sure they're supposed to be, but I don't know. But why is he doing it? He's got to be doing it from his heart. That's what Donald Trump's doing. You can't bribe somebody that's worth billions of dollars. Good grief. It ain't about that. It's about doing a job and doing it right. And, take a breath. I love this country. I am a combat veteran, and I love this country. And I swore an oath years ago to defend it. And I'll be 80 years old this year, and that commitment is just as strong right now as it was when I was 19. And that's where we are. You either love it or you don't. And if you don't love it, get out of it. Same thing with your job. If you don't love it, get out of it. Because that is going to drive you crazy. If you work somewhere that you don't like, you spend a third of your life there. Get out of it. And now, I'm sad to say, you're probably going to be forced out of it. Because it sounds to me like these guys are doing things right. They're going to find a way for us to get this settled. But every American know that we're all going to pay something because that debt's there. And the people who created the debts are the rats that's running in holes all over this country to keep them getting caught. They knew it when they was doing it. Knew it just as well as a McDonald's employee cooking French fries. But if you drop something in that grease besides potatoes, you know you did wrong. They knew all these years what they were doing wrong, but yet they did it anyway because of greed. They got a kickback off of that for letting that happen. And I'm going to tell you something. All of that is treason to our government. And if you are silly enough to believe that you want somebody treasonous working for you, if you had to pay their salary, I believe you would want to know what they're doing. Think about it. Because in reality, that's exactly what we're doing. See, all this garbage, them trillions of dollars, that's all of us. It ain't them. They blew it, they did it. But guess who's going to pay the price? We are. Think about it. And no matter what, I love you. And we'll be doing some of these. And if you get a chance, pay attention. It's the old coach. Have a great day.